Okay, today we are off to film another episode of The Athlete's Commute. We are picking up someone very exciting and going somewhere very exciting. So we are going to be welcomed by Britney Hall. She is an All-American hammer thrower that competed at the University of Oregon and then professionally for the United States and traveled throughout Europe. So I can't wait to learn more about her hammer throwing experience, but also how she trains and where she goes to train now and what that's like. And we're going to be making a very, very special pit stop at the Olympic Training Center in San Diego. So I'm very excited. Hi, Britney.
Hello, Jourdan. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Good. Thanks for joining today.
Of course. I'm excited to kind of go back to our old stomping ground, right?
I know. Okay, so I do want to hear first and for us to announce exactly kind of where we're going. You also might need to help me get there a little bit.
Yes.
Just warning. But yeah.
Here. Yep. We're going to 125, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. We're good. I'll point.
Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect. Yeah. Feel free to interrupt too. I
Yeah.
feel like the car thing is definitely always adds a dynamic.
Yes. This reminds me of I did a series with GoPro, and in my car I had a bunch of GoPros.
Oh my
in
gosh.
it.
Yeah. New for me
Yes,
for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell us about where we're going today first.
So today we're going back, like I mentioned, to our my old stomping grounds. I think you played there as well. But after I graduated from Oregon, I moved to San Diego to not only be closer to my family, because most of my family's from here, but to train at the then Olympic Training Center down in Chula, Vista. So we're going back, and I'm excited because there's still some familiar faces there, but yes, lots has changed as well. So
Yeah, I'm sure. And so did you grow up in San Diego?
I always say I grew up on the West Coast.
Okay.
So I had a fun journey on the West Coast. I was actually born in Anchorage, Alaska.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
Totally random. But my dad worked in the construction industry or in construction world. So my family was up there. My mom and dad were up there for probably about 5 years. And while they were up there, they had me. I was only there for 2 years, so I don't remember much. But I moved back to San Diego, and then San Diego for a long time. Then moved to Washington State. That's where I went to middle school and high school. And then once I graduated from Oregon, I came back. So I've been here ever since.
Wow. Yeah, you really hopped around. So, okay, so you went to the University of Oregon.
Yes.
And then how did you decide on that school? Did you know at this point you going for track and field, or is that part not started quite yet?
So just like my growing up in childhood, that was the same of my college experience as well.
Okay.
So I ended up at Oregon after a couple stints at other colleges. So
Okay.
I always make the joke I did the transfer portal before there was a transfer portal.
Yeah.
So out of high school, in high school, I knew I wanted to go to college. I just didn't know how I was going to get there because my parents, we didn't have that much money to go to college. So I was honestly thinking of going the military route and going into one of the branches and go to get my education that way.
Yeah.
But I always loved sport. I still vividly remember watching the Olympics and whoever it was standing on the podium and you heard the national anthem background, I'm like, oh my, that's what I want to do.
Yeah, you're like, I'm feeling a calling. I've got to be a part of this somehow.
So didn't know exactly the sport. At that time I was doing softball and basketball and some other sports just because I was an active kid.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until high school that I was introduced to hammer, and I was lucky enough that I went to high school in a state that had hammer. In high school, but not officially part of a high school program. It was more just a club sport. So and again, just more luck along the way in that I was thinking of going to college as a heptathlete.
Wow.
Went to a camp, saw someone throwing the hammer, and I was like, that looks way better.
No way.
They're going fast, they're throwing something, I want to try it out. No idea what the throws were at this time, so I tried it out. I loved it. I went home and told my mom, hey mom, I want to do this thing called the hammer. And she just shook her head and was like, all right. So
Wow.
for my senior year, I started throwing the hammer. My mom would drive me 30 minutes each way to go see my coach twice a week. And lo and behold, I was invited to the Olympic Training Center. This is why this place also excites me. There was this program at the time called the Junior Elite Camp.
Okay.
So if you're ranked in the top 5 in the country, you got invited to the training center and got to train here and be around the coaches and athletes.
Yeah.
And again, that made a huge imprint on my life because during that camp, it was, you know, they were talking about all the, you know, who you're eventually going to represent, and that is the United States. And so as a young athlete, that was a very impressionable moment on me. Like,
I'm sure you're like starting to see a glimpse, especially watching the Olympics so young, and then seeing a glimpse into, oh, this is something where I can be elite in this sport. Like this sport can take me places, and starting to like piece that together. And when you're so young, you don't know. You're just leading with what kind of feels right, what you're enjoying. But then to have those moments, I'm sure is huge.
Yep. And then one of the coaches from the universities was there, was able to get recruited, went to Southeastern Louisiana for a year. Unfortunately, after I got my scholarships, they dropped the hammer from the conference. So the next year I went to LSU. Unfortunately, my coach resigned at that time. So then it was on to Oregon, where great time, got to train under Lance Steele, who's the American record holder and the men's hammer at the time. So had amazing coaching, both like in the ring, but also like out of the ring, like from honestly, it was like kind of like my dad. So teaching me along the way. So it was great.
I know, what a program to end up at. It seems like that kind of path ended up, you landed right where kind of was setting you up for everything else.
Yes. So
could you feel that energy at University of Oregon? I'm always curious when I talk to people there because it's just such a massive sports school, and the passion behind the fans, but even anyone that goes there, it's like, is that very obvious when you're there?
Yes. So the first thing about throwing at Hayward, or being at Hayward, being around track and field, is that people like understand track and field. They know track and field. They understand the events. They understand what goes on during a track meet. So it's great because you don't have to educate anyone after. A lot of times after track meet, you got to explain, you know, how to make finals or any of the terminology. Those friends at Hayward, they're great. You don't have to explain them anything. But also, it's just, there's such a fan base there, and always people watching the hammer, always people there, you know, watching the different events, and them like having them being fans of certain athletes was really cool. So it's just a different feel, different vibe when you go to Hayward, because it's just more of like a welcoming home feeling, because you know that those fans understand track and field, and that's just kind of like a refreshing feeling.
And you just know your community understands like different parts of you that maybe for other people you might have to explain a little more, but to have that understanding. That's so cool. And you ended up having a pretty successful career there.
I Pac-10 champion, so that's going to age me because I was Pac-10. Pac-10 champion my senior year, All-Americans all throughout my collegiate career. Made the Olympic trials a couple times. So
how did you know, as you were beginning to graduate and hit your senior year, when did you get the feeling like it was something you were going to want to keep exploring afterwards? Because I can imagine for track and field, and on the female side too, that's not a very easy to see path for a professional.
Yep, it's definitely what always creeps in your mind is like, how am I gonna afford this? Like, it's not cheap, it's not glamorous, and a lot of it is just that sacrifice. You see other people starting their careers and growing an adult life, as they call it, but once you have a dream and you get to do the things that sport allows you to do, like travel the world and do these different things, then that's just really the path. I knew I was going to try my hardest, no matter how many times it took, to make the Olympics. When I made the Olympic trials my sophomore year at LSU. So I made the Olympic trials. God, I was like 17 years old, so young. But it really just exposed me to that elite side of track and field, and me just knowing I made that realm of being elite, and that at such a young age, and so I knew the potential was there. So that's what it was, set in stone then, and I wasn't gonna sacrifice. Might have been to my detriment, but I don't think it was. But part of the reasons I left LSU too was that I knew I needed coaching that was going to help me excel and continue to grow in hammer, and going to Oregon was going to be that.
Yeah, totally. And I feel like, especially, I totally can relate to what you're saying, especially the kind of, you have a pressure on you. You're always battling when you decide to start pursuing something professionally as a female athlete, knowing that it's not this formal career path. And then there's this weird expectation when you're in your young 20s to already have it figured out and to set yourself up in your first job. So it's this constant battle of, God, something's telling me to pursue this, and this is what's going to give me life experience, or this is what's going to, eventually lead me to where I have to go, but you don't know what that is. And so to make those choices is then so hard. You're just battling that kind of societal pressure.
Yeah, no, that was definitely there. I was very lucky to have very supportive family that they're going to support me no matter what, whether financially or big is financially. But I live with my grandma, so she always said, like, as long as I was pursuing my goal of making the Olympic team, and I still work side jobs. Like, I was lucky enough to work.
You have to, athletes. It's your reality.
So definitely work side jobs during it. But also it's nice because it also kept me connected to that outside world and not just so encompassed in my sport. But yeah, it wouldn't have been made possible if I didn't have a situation with my family.
I'm curious to hear a little bit about what training for hammer throwing is like, because it's not a sport I was very familiar with, and I know track and field, but also it's fascinating how people find what their their specialty is within track and field, because there's so many different options. So I want you to dive into that a little bit more.
I picked the hammer because I could go fast. I grew up going as fast as I could at everything, whether it was running. My family, we had fast boats, we had fast cars, so I just grew up in a fast environment. And the hammer, when I picked it up and I started to spin with it, I felt like I was going fast. I was not going fast, but it gave me that feeling, and that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to go as fast as I can, no matter what. And that was my strong point as I continued as a hammer thrower, is that I could be fast. Now, granted, I needed help technically, because you got to put the power into the hammer, but when it comes to training, the hammer, it's one part trusting yourself that you're not going to fall on your face. It's another part heavy Olympic lifting, because you got to be strong. You got to be able to hold positions when you're turning. And
how heavy is the hammer?
It is 4 kilos, so 8.8 pounds.
Okay.
Yep. And then when it comes to training with the hammer, is that specifically you train with different weights to get strong and powerful in certain positions. And so wintertime is heavy, getting strong in positions right along with heavy weight room with Olympic lifting. And then as the competition season gets closer, you start lightening up the hammer, so you're getting that quickness, that timing. Same thing in the weight room. So you do extras too, like we tried to run. I always had a lot of fun at the training center too, because we encompassed gymnastics, or our form of thrower gymnastics. And so we did some tumbling. We had a high bar there, so we learned to do giants on the high bar.
How interesting. I never really thought about almost the similarities between certain events in track and field and gymnastics. I mean, you think about all of the jumping, the pole vaulting, like there's so much more crossover than I would have thought.
The reason we encompassed gymnastics into our training is we got so used to spinning on a horizontal plane and not on a vertical plane. So it's just training our bodies to move in a circular motion on a different plane. And so
that's fascinating.
Just so if you do something repetitive enough times, like, your body starts to break down. And so, a lot of it is when you become an elite athlete, it's no longer PRing by feet, it's by inches, and you get those inches because you're staying consistent with training, but you're also staying consistent and having a healthy body.
Right.
So
oh my God.
you
have to stay
Yep.
healthy. So did you deal with very many injuries throughout your career? I mean, are a lot of them, I'm just going to assume, and you can correct me, are they shoulder things? Are they?
Yeah, I, knock on wood, I was very lucky. I never had any major injuries during my professional career, even through college. You know, I'd get banged up and my back would, you know, go out. I still have it, but my labrum is torn in my shoulder, like 180 degrees. But I always made the joke that it just allowed my shoulder to get extra long, so it was more radius for the hammer.
Yeah.
But
you had an advantage over everyone.
But yeah, I was very lucky that I didn't have anything that took me out of competition for a period of time and had to rehab from it.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm sure that it's huge. Staying healthy is such a battle, especially when you're doing a sport and then being professional. There's not sometimes a clear on and off season. I know for some of my seasons, it was like you are playing for your professional league and then you're in a tournament in what should be a couple weeks off. And then, so it's not as clear cut. And so it's hard to maintain your body, your strength, and when to peak and when to, you know, scale back. And you always, especially at an elite level, want to be your best every single time. Like, I'm sure the desire to PR, you're never in a competition not trying to PR. So
and we definitely, as you the nice thing with track and field was we have our set season. There's indoor season where there is some major competitions, but the nice thing with the hammer is that our main event is outdoors. So we have a defined season where we can, you know, work up to the championship portion, whether it's USA Nationals to make the team, and then once you made the team, hitting that next peak. So it is nice we have a defined season. So then I think that can also help out planning on when to hit it hard and back off for injury prevention.
Okay, so I have a question, and I'm curious about some of your training, your pre-training rituals then and even now, because I think being an athlete stays with you even if you're not doing the exact same type of training, but it's like, were you someone that was, and different time periods too, where different people had different tips and tricks, and so it like, were you big on electrolytes before? Were you big pregame meals like before tournaments? I mean, and then even now, like, do some of those things stay with you and how you prep for how you train?
I guess I had like little nuances that I did before competition. I always had to touch the ring, so I'd go in the day before, no matter where I was at in the country or the world. I wanted to touch the ring to know what it felt like, whether it was gonna be fast, slow, whatever it was. I just wanted to touch it. When it came to meals, nothing in particular. Usually your higher protein ones. I was always the thrower that was trying to gain or maintain weight because needed something to counter that hammer. So lots of protein in my diet. So then have that before. But I guess from a like mental standpoint, as I progressed through my professional career, I definitely started working with psychologists that helped me just get my mind in focus and in like a straight line, because I was a little bit of a butterfly when it came to like getting the competition. Like one thing could happen and then I'm thrown off, and so just really working on that and visualizing and really having intention with my visualizing, like why I was doing it, and focusing on certain parts of whether it was the warm-up or the walkout or the competition that I know might cause me to have like a butterfly moment. So,
that's a cute way to say it. A butterfly moment.
So and in my, you know, now that I'm in my career stages of life, I know that I can still get my butterfly moments because, you know, sitting at a desk, like it's terrible. But I let myself get up and walk around because I know that's just like extra energy I got to get out. But usually at the beginning of the day, I do just a post-it notes for my best friend, but I write out what I need to do that day. And so same, like not visualizing it, but writing it down on paper, so at least it's out of my mind.
Yeah. Is that something that you think could have helped you at an even younger age if you would have known it? Or do you think it came about at the right time, like as you were progressing in your career as an athlete, as you hit the higher levels? Or do you think you could have incorporated it sooner?
Oh man, I wish I would have incorporated it when I was in high school. Like,
Yeah.
I think there's such a, I still think there's a stigma against getting mental health help. I think a lot of times people think like, no, I need to do it on my own, and doing this is going to show weakness.
Right.
And I don't know if that's what I thought, but I never thought to seek it out because
Yeah.
I was still having fun. Like, it was a new thing and I was getting better at it, and
Right.
was trying not to be hard on myself. But I think starting at a younger age to plan out what's going to happen when you succeed, when you fail, when something doesn't go your way, to deal with tough situations, just having that in your pocket, like, is going to make
Yeah.
you succeed. There's so many
Right.
times when I was competing that I would just become numb and I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
And so having that backup of like, this is what you do when this happens. And
Yeah.
I know a lot of, my coaches were there, like Lance, we worked on visualization, but it was, I think I was going more through the motions, like, okay, if I
Right.
do this, then it's gonna work, instead of like really being intentional about it.
Yeah.
And as I started working with a different psychologist towards the end of my career, I became intentional, and that did take unpacking a lot of things.
Wow.
But unpacking all those made me be a successful person, and it
Yeah.
carried into my career side, where I now like have the tools to deal with a difficult boss or a difficult teammate
Yeah.
or a difficult situation, or even just like prioritizing tasks. Like, I have that now, and so
I can definitely see that. I think you're almost just loading tools into like a tool chest, and then being able to pull them out when you need them, no matter what your life circumstances are. And I think that's what's difficult, is even if, someone's kind of throwing them out there when you're young and you're a high school athlete, you don't know how to put them in the right place or what they're for. And especially to seek them out that young is so difficult. And so it is something that I hope continues to change, where teams are presented a psychologist that just helps people allow themselves to get in those mindsets, to know that if this is an emotion you feel, you can use this technique. Because that's definitely something that's not presented. And it's still something that has to be sought out. And when you're that young, the chances of you having some hindsight to be able to seek that out or know that that's what you're going to need is so unrealistic.
Yes, agree.
But yeah, those are things that I learned way later in my career, that I was similar. I was like, oh, I love my sport. I'm having so much fun. I play with my friends. I'm in school, or I have a social life, but there are things where I definitely know tools now that could have slowed me down, helped me realize when maybe I'm having a stressful moment or a moment of too much pressure where I wouldn't have known.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that starting at a young age, you start to identify the emotions, because again, like you said, we're having fun, we're with our friends, like, what could go wrong? But there are little things that could come up, and then if you have the right sports psychologist or right mental performance coach that is with the team, or even if you seek out outside resources that just help clarify, like, you might be feeling this emotion when this happens, and then it's on the table, and you're not like bottling it up. And you can express it. So
and being a track and field athlete, but a hammer thrower, does it feel like, especially in your college and professional career, that it's something that you're doing on your own, or do you feel very much a part of a team, especially when you're associated with the United States team? I think some people think that sports is always so collective, but I'm curious your experience.
At the end of the day, it is a team, but it is very much in how I looked at an individual sport, because if I threw far, I threw far. Those points would help the overall team, but it also was just kind of like my mindset and my personality that team sports weren't the best for me, just because I put so much pressure on myself to succeed, and then if someone else didn't do it, do their part, then it was hard for me to reconcile that. So track and field was great because I could put that pressure on myself. If I succeeded, then I succeeded. If I failed, I failed. I didn't fail the team.
Yeah.
So, overall, throughout most of the season, you're competing for yourself. You're looking to get that PR, to make that standard, to make the world or Olympic team or that championship team. And then once you get to that championship, then you're scoring points for the team to win the overall. We're going to go to the next stop.
Okay.
We're going to go to the athlete entrance.
Okay, cool.
So it was the way that track and field was set up was right for me.
Yeah. Is it this one?
Nope, the next one.
Okay. And obviously you made a big enough impact that you're still so involved in athletics, the athletic community through your different careers.
Yeah.
In what ways do you feel passionate about being involved in it now?
Yeah, when I left the sport, I was actually going to leave it completely. I was going to go into the financial world. I had it all set up on what I was going to become a CPA. But lo and behold, I got an offer to work with a sport technology company that was going to deal directly with track and field.
Yeah.
And I'm glad it did. Because as you leave the sport, you always think about the things that you would change if you were an athlete. And I've really, as I started working with the sport technology world, just that mantra that I kept hearing in the back of my head was just leave it better than you found it. And so every sport world that I've been in, whether it's sport technology or sport software, or now just helping with fandom in San Diego, has been that whole mantra of just leave it better than you found it. And so that's what I continue to do and do what I can with the sports world. So we're going to talk to the security guy here.
Okay. Oh, well, this is going to be interesting to really have my window. Here, I can take this off.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, we're here to see Gustavo in the weight room for our podcast. Britney Hall and Jourdan.
Zip.
Thank you.
Got the athlete entrance.
Yeah.
We love it. We love it.
You get the VIP entrance.
Yeah. But I love what you're saying. And again, very relatable. And I mean, not every athlete post athletic career finds a way back to their sport, but it doesn't matter. It sticks with you no matter where you go. So, I mean, I love that.
Yes. Yeah. I still have really good friends that are part of the track and field community. And, just watching from afar is really cool too, because I can just now be a fan of the sport and not be wrapped up in it and, not having the time to really appreciate the other events. And so it's just been nice to be a fan of track and field and help out where we can. So you can park anywhere now.
Okay. Well, I love it. And thanks for letting me take you to training and for you taking me to the Olympic Training Center.
Yes.
So I'm excited to go check it out.
Yes. All right. Let's go.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Chin ring. These are our training rings. Javelin, shot put, and then obviously the track.